And you've been blessed to have worked with Teddy Riley and Puffy.
Yes.
How would you say the process is that Teddy Riley had in place for creating music varied from Puffy's sound? How were the processes different? And how did you benefit from both?
Okay. Teddy, I got all the technical aspects of music. From, for instance, Pro Tools. Teddy was one of the first people in urban music, I believe. I have to double check it. But he was one of the first people to actually mix a record in Pro Tools without using a huge controller. He mixed it with all the sounds the computer gave and all the gadgets in the computer. He mixed the whole Finally album digital in Pro Tools. And that's where a lot of the great engineers like Serban Gania has come from Teddy Camp.
Yeah. So
I think the technical aspect of how the drums should sound and crack and how the song should be mixed and just the, or whatever, combining the songwriting with the great club and up-tempo track. I learned some of that from Teddy. But also, I learned that from Puff as well, too. Because Puff, even if it was a a mix, you felt that in your belly. You felt that. You know what I'm saying? Even if it was just like somebody cutting on the turntable. If it was a hi-hat, you heard it. It made the hairs on your arm stand up. It was a drum. So when he mixed in big speakers. And it's like, I could hear all the sounds and and it just sounded like it was a movie happening in your ears.
Yeah. And
it was somebody rapping over it, somebody singing over it. So I kind of, I learned, a lot from both of them. Puff is real picky when it comes to songs. There's a chapter in my book called Rewriting and Rejection. And you would definitely go through some rejection here at Bad Boy at Daddy's house and stuff like that. But he's definitely taught me how to get rejected. And he kind of toughened my skin up to a point where I write now and I double check and edit my own work. So by the time he comes and says, Jack, what you got? And he listens to that first take, he hears what he wants. And I have to keep rewriting. Teddy was more so, a little more, should I say, he was more passive in the sense of whatever y'all created, that's what he went with.
Yeah. And
he organized it later on and he made it hot. So I learned a lot from both guys, both of them. Definitely Puffy on the entrepreneurial side. I learned how to juggle those things, how you juggle music in your life and your different things like that.
You seem really chilled and humble. How do you keep that? Because obviously you've seen success. You've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I know with some of your earlier career it was a challenging time at times, and you see how you're doing now, and it's like, how do you stay grounded? What's your advice to people to stay grounded and level-headed?
Wow. I think there's two ways to stay grounded. One way is to experience life and go through it and hit your head. Because once you hit your head a couple of times and you go against what your conscience is telling you to do, you kind of regret it. You get kind of tired of that. But the main thing to do is by keeping grounded, you can't burn bridges. You always got to keep your friends and your family around you as close as possible to keep them giving you that warmth. Because you started getting around people in the music business and you meet them and you work together and you make money together, but they're not really someone that can energize you to the point of your aunt or your cousin or your little brother or your mom. So I think keeping family close by is key in being grounded. And I think people who have good relationships with their parents and their families maintain a sense of humility, like Beyonce. You see her dad and her mom are together. That does something to a person that's growing up, especially in the music business. So I think that's, if I had to pick one point that's key, is keeping your close ones close.
Right. Who's your favorite artist that you've done a track for?
Wow.
And there's so many.
It's like, actually, who's my favorite child? Who's my favorite baby?
Ashley, can you tell us your favorite R&B track and your favorite rap track?
Okay.
So
period, or that I've done?
Done stuff that you've done.
Okay. My favorite R&B track was a song called Sittin Home, Waiting for You, by a group called Total.
I love that.
Because it was a personal song. It was about how my girlfriend felt. Me being on the road and being in Europe and traveling. How she felt being home alone, wanting her man. And I kind of reversed it and wrote a song about how I felt my girlfriend was feeling. And all the girls love that song and stuff like that. So that was one of my favorite songs. Rap-wise, one of my favorite rap songs had to be, hands down, I Need a Girl. Because I Need a Girl Part 1 and Part 2, you had all the different singers on the song, and
there were so many singers.
Yeah, it was kind of like the Super Friends R&B record, but for males. And the females did one with the Ladies Night with Missy. So that was kind of like a male ladies night in a way, you know,
yeah,
for the male side. So they all killed the raps, you know. So that was a big song for me. It was like a fun song, and you know.
So who's the best artist you work with, as far as your somebody that you're in awe of? You're like, oh my god, I worked with this guy. You're like, damn.
Okay, I don't know how old the viewers are, but New Edition was the was a group I worked with when I was behind the boards, and I was like, wow, I'm showing Ralph what parts to sing, and it's funny. It's not like, you know, these guys are, you know, fat and have beards. These guys look like they're the same kids in the video, the Candy Girl video, because they all pretty small and they all, you know, obviously take good care of themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm sitting there, and then, you know, and then Bev comes in, and then Ricky comes in, and then Johnny Gill goes in the booth.
It's quite a group.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, I'm telling these guys how to sing my song, and it was like, it's surreal. I looked at myself and I was like, wow, you know, you definitely come a long way. You know what I mean? And that was a real surreal experience for me, working with one of my idols. And that's on the R&B side. On the rap side, the person I was really, really, really in awe about.
Can I have a guess? Rakim, maybe?
Rakim. Yeah, Rakim was definitely my, you know, just to be a little kid. You know, in New York we have the projects, or what we can call projects. And you have a park, and every year you have a party in that park, and the DJ and whatever. And his record was a record I remember when I was young that came on, and every kid was just singing it, and I was just like, wow, who's this guy with this monotone voice rapping over this beat? And, you know, and then my first gig I got, it wasn't my biggest record, but it was really one of my first gigs. It was a song, a hook I wrote for Rakim for his comeback album.
18th Letter.
Yeah, 18th Letter. That was my, you know, so that was surreal. So, you know, just those groups alone, Rakim, New Edition, you know, I worked with Usher, I worked with Carl Thomas, you know, I love working with them all equally, and J-Lo, especially, you know, I did some writing with her on J to the L-O album. But for me, those two was kind of stand out in my mind.
Who was the greatest professional?
Let me see. Singer or just
any artist?
Any artist.
It's on you.
Diddy.